The Hook is essentially the story of a young couple who go to the local lover's lane to park. That is, they park the car and they start making out. They've got the radio on for music, when all of a sudden it's interrupted by the voice of an announcer.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin.
And tells them that a maniac has escaped from the local insane asylum. They can tell who he is because he's got a hook in place of one of his hands. The guy wants to continue making out, of course, but the girl is getting a little freaked out, and after a while she just insists that they get out of there. He backs up the car and he roars out of there. When they get back to her place, he gets out of the car, goes around, and he's about to open the door when he finds the hook, which has been ripped off the maniac's hand. The story's first appearance in the media that we know of was on November 8th, 1960, in the Dear Abby column, actually. And it was a letter that purported to be from a teenager telling the story and saying, "I'm never going to park or make out as long as I live, and I hope this does the same for other teens." The milieu is, the very early 60s and the late 1950s, which was a conservative time. Youth culture in general and the sort of violations of morals that youth typically engage in, sort of minor delinquency, premarital sex, was being associated with degeneracy and communism. Occasionally you see portrayals of the hook man with a hook that looks more like a communist sickle than it looks like a hook that you would actually use for a hand. One of the things that distinguishes this story from other stories of the same genre is the specific plot line of the hook and it being ripped out. It symbolizes not just a phallic symbol, but a deformed phallic symbol of some kind. Therefore, this attempt to get into the car shows this hook penetrating the outer wall, essentially, or almost getting into to sex itself. They have to pull away very quickly, and of course we even use the phrase pull out for getting out of a parking space. So he needs to pull out, and he's sexually frustrated, and when he comes around the car, what he discovers is this symbolic castration of the hook having been ripped out. One of the things that folklorists sometimes say about urban legends is in common with fairy tales, where there's something we call an interdiction, something that is forbidden. In urban legends, you have a kind of implied thing that's forbidden, an implied interdiction. You shouldn't park, you shouldn't make out, you shouldn't engage in sexuality, and when you do, you get in trouble with this awful monster coming to pursue you.